The Federal High Court in Abuja has nullified and set aside the passage of the 2024 Rivers State budget by Edison Ehie. Justice James Omotosho, in his judgment, recognized Martin Amaewhule as the authentic Speaker of the Rivers State House of Assembly. Judiciary correspondent Edison Ehie reports.
Constitutionally,
all actions taken by Edison Ehie as the Speaker of Rivers State House of Assembly and 3 others have been nullified by the court. Governor Fubara will now have to represent the budget to the legally constituted House of Assembly under the leadership of Martin Amaewhule. The court also restrained Governor Fubara from frustrating the activities of the House of Assembly under Mr. Amaewhule. The court insists the National Assembly has no power to take over the activities of the Rivers State House of Assembly when it still performs its legislative duties. The Inspector General of Police have been ordered to give protection to Martin Amaewhule. The court also ruled that withholding of the State House of Assembly funds by the governor is unconstitutional. Also, the redeployment of the clerk and deputy clerk by the governor is null and void. Justice Omotosho ordered the clerk and the deputy clerk to resume office immediately and unhindered. Governor Fubara was ordered to release all monies staying in the credit of the House of Assembly to Martin Amaewhule.
In clear terms, condemned various acts of the 11 defendants, that is the governor, and equally the acts of the Honorable Edison, who are purported to be the Speaker. The governor, his lordship, in clear terms, declared that as of today, the National Assembly do not have any reason or justification to take over the constitutional functions of the Rivers State House of Assembly.
The doctrine of separation of power is to allow the 3 arms of government, the executive, the legislature, and the judiciary, act independently without undue interference, but also ensuring there are checks and balances. Celestina Iria, TVC News, Abuja.
And in a dramatic twist of events, the same Federal High Court sitting in Abuja shortly after the earlier judgment ordered all the parties in the Rivers State House of Assembly crisis to maintain status quo. The court, in a ruling delivered by Justice Joyce Abdul-Malik, directed parties not to take further steps pending the determination of an application that's seeking to stop Governor Siminalayi Fubara from re-presenting the already passed 2024 budget of the state before the House. Justice Abdul-Malik also fixed February the 28th to hear the application, which was brought before the court by 6 elders of the state. Theophilus, interesting turn of events, and it doesn't help matters, if you ask me, because these are 2 courts of the same, jurisdiction, coordinate jurisdiction. First of all, there was the breaking news that came in early yesterday saying that the already passed budget presented by the governor will have to be brought back to the House. This time around, not headed. The court, the initial court, didn't recognize the leadership of Honorable Edison Ehie and instead said that the 27 members that brought the case before it, led by Honorable Martin, who is more or less like a factional speaker of the 27-member-led House in his own capacity, is the authentic speaker that is. But now we are seeing, I think this second ruling or decision of the court circulated later on Monday. This time around now, another group of persons have gone to court and they are, challenging the powers of the president in his intervention in the crisis, amongst other, grievances that they have. But now they are also saying that what the court had earlier said, ordering the governor to represent the budget, should be put on hold.
For me, this is quite early, because we're having this crisis in Rivers State when it's not even 1 year into the administration. It says quite a lot about the mindsets of our leadership in that state, because you're supposed to have settled down to the business of governance, but you're there's fights here and there, there's court cases, and it was shocking to see that the House of Assembly building was brought down for some form of reason or the other. But the thing is this, it's, for me, it's, I don't want to use the word that's coming to my head right now, but it's quite not, how do I put it, uncitizenship-like, let me use that word, because they say when two elephants fight,
Absolutely.
the grass suffers.
Indeed.
The people of Rivers State are suffering because as it is right now, there's no, the governor cannot spend any money because the budget, their court cases now, the court is saying represents the budget. There's another case that says maintain status quo. Which will he obey?
Absolutely, which will he obey?
If he decides to spend from the budget, the House of Assembly might institute some impeachment proceedings against him.
All right. You have raised some pertinent issues because, you know, this is all about governance.
It's
and,
all
you
about
know,
governance.
there are distractions. But
Truly.
then, you know, there are some realities on the ground. And it's really concerning because it doesn't appear that the dust has settled.
It doesn't
In the
so.
first case, that was a judgment going by reports and from all that we have been following. And it's the court of first instance. So even that, you know, that appears to be a breakthrough somewhat is still subject to an appeal. The other parties, especially those whom the order of court happen to be against, the governor, the Edison Ehie-led faction, and all other people, the IGP and all other parties who were the defendants in the suit brought by Honorable Martin Amaewhule, those also have a right to appeal. So we don't even know the response yet, you know, from their end. If indeed they will sit back and accept the verdict of the court, ordering the governor to represent the budget. And of course, with this one now, with this second court case now, that is also, you know, going to, you know, further complicate matters. And you raise the question as to which order will the governor obey, even if at all there was no second case in the matter. The governor will no doubt be exploring, you know, other avenues and all of that. But it also raises the question on whether this is something that, you know, the courts can solve or whether it is something that can be solved politically, because the end game should be all about governance and clearing distractions from the way. It's, you know, distracted enough, like the governors have noted, the fact that the plethora of court cases against them, especially in the twilight of the election, brought about, you know, so many, you know, forays to the court in terms of election petitions. And thankfully, some states have had final verdicts decided and, you know, finished, finally determined, and so they can now face governance, the business of governance. But, you know, there are still some states that their fates are yet to be known. And then minus all of that, you now have something like this, the spectacular example of Rivers State.
In this kind of situation, I think for me, peace should just be the utmost. Peace should reign. Whatever the case, drop the hatchet and ensure that Rivers people get good governance, because in the end, good governance is what will speak for you. Before you know it, 4 years is done, or we're getting to the third year. They're preparing for elections in the fourth year. So what would you say you have given to the people of Rivers State after everything, after all said and done? What have you given to the people of Rivers State? So it's important that the governor, the political leaders in Rivers State understand this and strive to ensure that Rivers State is peaceful so that the dividends of democracy will get to the people.
And in the midst of all of this, protests are brewing.
Yes, everywhere.
We'll get to see, you know,
some CSOs coming
some
up to
reports.
say,
Absolutely, they are also not, you know, sitting down. They are not quiet about the whole controversies. They are also coming in with their own form of intervention. And law and order is paramount. We sure hope that, you know, the law enforcement agencies are on top of their game in Rivers State, because Rivers State, you know, happens to be one of the states, you know, that can be volatile. And we hope that the security, the police, and all the needed, you know, agencies, especially in this matter, are on grounds to forestall any breakdown of law and order.